Teddy and Jill were two young men with smiles that never seemed to fade. One was short and bulky, the other tall and slender, yet together they looked inseparable, like two shadows moving as one. On this particular day, they wandered the village streets in search of a house to rent. Their constant grins earned them the nickname Smiling Machines, for they greeted everyone humbly, bowing as though facing an idol. Along the road, they met a man washing his bicycle. Teddy crouched beside him, still smiling, and asked politely if he knew of a vacant house. The man scoffed, gesturing at the swampy land around them. "Do you see any house here? This is a swamp." But pressed further, he pointed them toward an old woman by a gate. Thanking him cheerfully, the two men turned toward the woman's quiet, eerie home. Teddy and Jill approached the old woman who stood silently by her gate. Behind her loomed a large, ancient mansion, surrounded by cider trees that whispered in the breeze. The air was quiet, broken only by the chirping of birds. Teddy smiled and spoke with his usual politeness. "Granny, we are looking for a house to rent. Do you have any?" But the woman's eyes stared blankly into the distance, and her lips muttered gibberish, as though trapped in another world. Teddy frowned and nudged Jill. "She's jaded, helpless. Let's go find another house." Yet Jill's sharp gaze held steady. Something about the old woman felt strange, unsettling. He pulled Teddy back. "Wait, look closely. Something is very wrong." Teddy studied her again. The woman's steps were uncertain, her fingers stretched out like withered branches. She groped her way inside, half blind and deaf. The two men followed, curiosity overtaking caution. Inside the mansion, the two men were stunned. The house was vast, with endless rooms stretching like a field, big enough for a basketball game. Yet it was empty, silent, and occupied only by the frail old woman who soon disappeared into her bedroom. As her snores echoed faintly down the corridors, Teddy and Jill slapped a triumphant high five, grinning ear to ear. This was it. The house of their dreams. No landlord to bother them, no rent to pay, and plenty of space to move about unnoticed. It was as if fate had handed them the perfect hideout. The widow's children were far away in the city, leaving her vulnerable and forgotten. With sly satisfaction, the two men decided to settle in, turning the grand but neglected mansion into their own secret refuge. They felt victorious, smiling broadly, as though heaven itself had blessed their cunning plan. Life in the village soon changed under Teddy and Jill's hidden reign. By day, they were the ever-smiling gentlemen, bowing, greeting, and charming everyone with their humble demeanor. But when night fell, their true faces emerged. Under the cover of darkness, they prowled the streets, breaking into shops and bars, spreading quiet terror. Yet their double life went unquestioned, for no one suspected the grinning strangers. Village girls, curious and bold, often stopped them, eager for friendship. But Teddy and Jill shunned all advances, dismissing them with cold indifference. Among them was Sharon, a sharp-tongued, mischievous girl whose arrogance matched her beauty. One hot afternoon, she stood beneath a tree, waiting for them with a knowing smirk. As they approached, she smiled sweetly. "Hi, handsome men," she teased. They bowed like gentlemen, but Sharon sensed something deeper. Something about these two wasn't right, and she was determined to uncover it. Under the shade of the tree, Sharon wasted no time. "You're both new in this village?" she asked with a sly smile. Teddy grinned. "Oh, yes, what about it?" She pressed further, teasing about their work. With a straight face, Teddy boasted, "We have business in the USA. We're hoteliers." Sharon's eyes widened. "You mean 5-star hotels? Wonderful. Take me with you." But Teddy chuckled darkly. "No, it's too expensive to live there. Donald won't allow it." Sharon leaned closer, mocking, "Then take me to your house here. I love you, sugar boy." But Teddy's smile vanished. "I hate brazen girls." "They stink," Jill echoed. "Yes, messy and troublesome." Sharon burst into laughter, waving them off. "You're not normal men. No man with blood hates girls." As she walked away, still laughing, Teddy and Jill muttered curses, their pride bruised. Sharon had touched a nerve. and she knew it. That evening, Teddy and Jill lounged in the living room of their stolen mansion. The old woman's snores drifted from her bedroom, loud and oblivious to the world. Teddy's face hardened. "I really hate that girl under the tree," he spat. Jill chuckled. "Me too. She's a Jezebel, a spoiler." Silence fell as they brooded, until Jill muttered, half serious, "What if we kill her?" Teddy leaned back, eyes narrowing. "No, not yet. We can't risk it. Let me think of something better. For now, there are motorbikes to steal, and the jumbo supermarket, our biggest prize." Jill grinned at the thought, but added uneasily, "Still, she could ruin everything." "Think fast," Teddy's smirk returned. "Leave it to me. I'll find a solution." But Jill wasn't convinced. His hands curled into fists. "I could strangle her myself." Between laughter and menace, their smiles grew darker, hiding dangerous intentions. One market evening, Sharon hurried home with a basket of goods, humming softly when she froze. Two figures loomed ahead, faces hidden beneath black hoods. Their silhouettes were familiar, one short and bulky, the other tall and slender, the same sugar boys, who'd bowed like gentlemen by the tree. Each gripped a crowbar. Their walk was menacing. For a heartbeat, Sharon was petrified. Then she steadied herself and kept moving, quickening her pace toward safety. "Surely they're robbers," she muttered under her breath, and thought of locked doors and shattered glass. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, Teddy and Jill stretched luxuriously after a stolen meal, smug with the night's haul. When the old woman shuffled out again, lost in conversation with ghosts only she could see, Jill mocked her, sticking out his tongue, thumbed ears, and laughter echoing through the hallway. The woman paused, then, unceremoniously, relieved herself by the gate, a small, humiliating detail of neglect that made the thieves' jeers feel sharper, colder. The next day at the bus stop, Sharon's face lit up with joy. A tall man in army uniform stepped off the bus, a rucksack slung over his shoulder, sunglasses shading his eyes. She rushed to him and embraced him tightly. "Darling, I'm so happy to see you." "How was the battlefield?" she asked breathlessly. Denis, her lover, smiled wearily. "Terrifying, but I thank God I made it home. Out there, it's kill or be killed." Sharon's eyes filled with gratitude. "Glory be to God. I missed you so much." "And I missed you too," Denis replied warmly. Hand in hand, they walked past Teddy and Jill, who lurked under a tree, whispering about their next mischief. Teddy spat bitterly. "There goes the stupid girl with her soldier boy." Jill eyed Denis warily. "He walks like he owns the place." "He looks tough," Teddy sneered. "Let him go to hell." "Who cares?" Midnight fell heavy and silent when Teddy and Jill returned to the mansion, sacks bulging with stolen goods. Their footsteps pounded against the floor as they kicked the back door open with arrogant force. Laughter echoed, until the silence split with gunfire. Twa, twa, twa. The room lit up with muzzle flashes. The thieves collapsed instantly, lifeless on the ground. Denis stood firm, rifle steady, a soldier once more in battle. Sharon rushed from the bedroom, trembling. "Darling, what is it? Who are those men?" Denis glanced at her calmly. "Thieves. They came to steal from us." Sharon peeked over his shoulder and gasped. "Jesus! I know them. They told me they owned 5-star hotels in the USA." Denis shook his head grimly. "No, Sharon. Their only hotel is this stolen house." She laughed nervously, disbelief mixing with relief. By morning, villagers discovered their stolen mattresses, TVs, and motorbikes. Praising Denis, the prodigal son returned. At sunrise, the once quiet mansion became a hive of voices and footsteps. Villagers streamed in, eyes widening as they uncovered piles of stolen goods, mattresses, motorbikes, television sets, game consoles, all hidden in the many rooms. Jubilation spread as each family reclaimed what had been taken from them. Denis, still in his dusty uniform, was hailed as a hero. Songs of praise rose in his name. The prodigal son who had returned from war not only to his lover, but to save the entire village from thieves disguised as saints. Sharon stood proudly by his side, her laughter still echoing at the irony of Teddy and Jill's lies. Yet one mystery lingered. How had she and Denis come to live in the very house where the old, half-blind widow once resided? Whispers spread like wildfire, but no one dared ask. The truth, perhaps, was better left untold.